Good morning, children. Hope you all are fine. Today I'm here with the second chapter of class 7th English textbook Honeycomb. The name of the chapter is A Gift of Chappals, written by Vasantha Surya. Children, I have divided this chapter into three parts, and today we are going to do part 1. Children, you can see the text is given on the screen, but it is not in the form of prose, whereas you find it in the form of prose in your textbook. Here I have converted it in the form of a comic so that it becomes very interesting to all of you and you will find it very captivating. So I'm giving you 2 minutes to read this text and then we will move forward. Hope you all must have read it. Now we move on to the second part of this story. This is another text. It is in the continuation of the previous text, but as it could not be compiled on one screen, that is why it has been divided into two screens. Okay, you all must have read. Now let's discuss the characters of this story. First, we have Mridu, then Ravi, Lalli, Meena, Rukkumani, Tapi, MP Punnai, music master and beggar. One more is there, Gopu Mama is also there, but he has not been mentioned directly, only his name has been mentioned. He has not been shown in the story doing any act, but of course his name is mentioned. So we can write Gopu Mama as well. Now let's do the synopsis of the text. Mridu is a girl who lives in Chennai with her grandparents. One day she goes to visit her aunt Rukkumani and her cousins Lalli, Ravi and Meena. At Rukkumani's house she sees a pair of slippers. They are long, covered with dust, and mark of each and every toe was on the front part of each slipper. Ravi is very excited. He wants to show something to Mridu. So he drags Mridu to his backyard. And there he shows her that they have kept a kitten in the backyard. And Ravi told Mridu that he found the kitten in the front of his gate in the morning. But they have to keep it a secret because when Pati means the grandmother, if Ravi's Pati comes to know that they have kept a kitten in the backyard, then she will leave their house and she will go and live with Ravi's mama's house. So that is why they have kept this a secret from the elders. But Ravi has to give milk to the kitten and he finds it very difficult to bring milk for the kitten from his kitchen because he has to make some excuses to his Pati for getting the milk. The children discuss that elders, they always tell them to be kind with animals. But if they really are kind to them, then the elders scream. This he tells with reference to his Pati's reaction, which he expects what reaction she would give if she came to know that there was a kitten in the house. And Ravi tells Mridu that they have kept the name of the kitten, and that is Mahendran. Mridu was very surprised because Mahendran is a name which is generally given to human beings. And for a cat, Mahendran was, sort of unique name. Then Ravi told her that it was a fine breed of cat. And then he gave a detailed account of the cat's family and relatives. He told them that the cat was the descendant of the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. It means it was not an ordinary cat. It was a cat of high breed which was being worshipped in many parts of the country. Mridu and Meena, they smiled at his cooked up story. They knew very well that Ravi was quite imaginative and he was all cooking up this story to give an impression on the girls, on Mridu and Meena, that he was very intelligent and he had a fair knowledge of history. Now, children, as you have read the text, we move on to a very interesting activity for today, that is a class discussion. The topic that we have chosen today is begging. We are going to have arguments for and against begging. So let's start with for. I've written certain points on the screen. You may see these points, and you may come up with some more points that we can have in the class. We will have a very good discussion, very good interaction in the class with more points that you will be giving us. So as for now, let's discuss these points. Homeless. First one I have written as homeless. So beggars, they are homeless. They don't have a shelter. So in order to survive in this harsh world, everyone needs food. And these beggars, as they don't have any job and they have to have the food for their survival, for that they take up a very simple and easy option, and that is begging. Second is no skill development. Beggars are very unskilled person. Of course they have a skill in begging, but that we are not taking into account right now, because begging is not a job. So they don't have a skill, any skill development that they can use for doing any work, for doing any job. So that is why, as they don't have any skill, they don't have a job, and as they don't have a job, they straight away come to begging. They find it very easy option. Next is highly neglected by the government. This section or this group of the society is highly neglected by the government. It says that government makes policies for so many people, for so many sectors, but they do not make anything. They do not pass any law, any rules, any regulation, particularly in favor of these begging, to help these beggars survive in this world. They do not do, or maybe whatever they are doing, whatever policies they are making, that is not enough to meet the demands of these, or the increasing numbers of this sector, or this group, that is beggars. Second is next point is large family size. See, they have a large family size, that we all know. These beggars have a number of family members, and in order to give them food, in order to meet the essentialities of their life, that is 2 square meals a day, if they have to give the family members, they need to have money, and they only find this option of getting money, and that is begging. So very simply, they beg for money from different people. They beg on the street, they beg at the traffic lights, and so at so many places you must have seen these beggars. And you must have seen small children also take to begging, because their parents involve these children in begging, so that they can earn more and they can meet the demands of their family members. Next is widespread illiteracy. This is one of the major reason. We all know they are not educated people, so they do not know the importance of education. They do not send their children to school, and that is why the children remain uneducated forever. And they only know that as the children, they, as they start growing up, these people involve them into begging, so they also start begging right from the beginning years of their age. Next is poverty. Poverty is the most important. It is the only root cause of all the other points. So they are very poor and they have to survive, and for that they take this work, that is begging. So these are few points for begging. Why people take to begging? What are the reasons behind begging? So we can see they are homeless, they don't have any skill development, they are highly neglected by government, they have large family size, it is difficult to have 2 square meals a day, wide spread illiteracy, and poverty. These are the reasons for begging. Now we come to the next part, that is against the begging. Now some of you would definitely agree with me that begging is not at all good. There are so many options open to the beggars. If they want, they can opt those options, they can do those things rather than begging. Because we sometimes we see that begging is very easy, just sitting on the street or moving on the street and ask the people or ask the passers by to give something to them. So they don't have to do any physical work, they don't have to do any mental work, and easily they get money. That is why they find this option the easiest one, and that is why they take up this activity. Now we are going to say something against this begging. First of all, it is very illegal. We all know begging is not at all legal because it gives rise to thievery and other criminal activities. They are not only beggars. We have seen that many of the beggars, they are involved in criminal activities as well. Very unlawful activities also they do in the society. It does not ensure a safe livelihood for them. Of course, begging, when you are living on the street, you don't have a shelter, you don't have a home, and every day you are earning something and using the money to for your survival, it does not ensure to have a safe livelihood for them. It's not at all safe, and it is not permanent as well. Now, vicious cycle of begging and not being able to come out of poverty. Begging is a vicious cycle. Vicious cycle means even if you want to come out of it, it becomes very difficult once you get into it. And why we are not able to come out of begging? Because of the poverty is the major reason. And you see the children of beggars, they also become beggars, they also take to begging, and then their children, and then their children, it keeps on happening. So it says that it is a vicious cycle, and one has to have a very strong willpower, very strong feelings and very strong opinion that he or she has to come out of begging, then only he can do so. Otherwise, it is a difficult cycle to come out. Now next, begging a profession. People nowadays, they have made begging a profession, although it is not so, but still they have made begging a profession, and they want their children also to come into that. Force their children to drop out and come into begging. That is what we have discussed. They do not send their children to school, because sending the children to school, it is a time taking process. Secondly, you're not going to get the immediate result. It needs some years. You need to educate your children for some years, and thereafter you will get the benefit of the education in the form of job, in the form of money. But these people do not wait for such time, and they want immediate result, and that is why they force their children to drop out, and then they tell them to come into begging. Now it's a hindrance to the economic growth and development of country. Of course, if the number of beggars is more in any country, it really hinders, it affects the economic growth and development of the country, because they are not adding to the economic growth of the country. They are in fact, they have almost become a burden, that they're not doing anything for the society, rather than they are taking something from the society. So as government has so many plans, it has uh, they have given free education to the children. These children can go to the schools and get education free of cost without paying um, anything. But still people do not, these beggars do not send their children to school. So it is a hindrance to the economic growth. So children, these are few points that we have discussed about for and against begging. And I know you all are very intelligent, so you will add some more points from your own side. Now children, it is vocabulary time. These are few difficult words that we got from the text, and I'm giving you the meaning of these difficult words. First is rushed. Rushed means ran. Second, take off. It means to remove something. Next is protested. It means revolted. Next is scrawny. It means thin in a way that is not attractive. Very scrawny means very thin. Dragged means pulled. Lapping up, it means drinking. Scream, shouting angrily. Throw off her scent, throw off the scent, it means to befool somebody. Tumbler, it means glass. And next word is suspicious. That means doubtful. Now the next activity that we are going to do is reference to context. I have given a text, some part of the text on the screen. You are asked to read this text, and then some questions are given based on this, and you are supposed to write the answers of those questions. So I am giving you 2 minutes to read this text. Okay, now let's do the questions. The first question is, who was Mridu? Why did Ravi take Mridu to the backyard? What did he show to his cousin? What did Mridu find at the door? What was the kitten doing? And find a word from the passage that means the same as thin. So these are 6 questions framed from the text given to you. Now you just take 1 minute, 2 minutes to write the answers to these questions, and thereafter we will discuss the answer. Now I hope you all must have written the answers. Now let's check if your answers are correct. The first question was, who was Mridu? Mridu was the cousin of Lalli, Ravi and Meena. The next question was, where did Ravi take Mridu? Ravi took Mridu to the backyard to show her new found kitten. The next answer is, the question was, what did he show? He showed Mridu a small kitten lapping up the milk. Meena had found it outside the gate. The next answer is, a question was, what did Mridu find at the gate? Mridu found a pair of large black slippers at the door. Next question was, what was the kitten doing? The kitten was lapping up milk from a coconut half shell. And the next question was, you had to find out a word which means thin, that is scrawny. Now our next activity is if clause. Now children, what is a clause? Clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb. It can stand on its own. Clause functions as an adjective or an adverb or a noun. And if we are talking about this if clause, it is a conditional clause. It is used to specify a condition and the consequence thereof. Now we will understand it better with the help of examples. See, the examples are given here. If she knows we have a cat, Pati will leave the house. Here the first part of the sentence is showing the condition. If Pati knows that we have a cat, then second part tells the consequence. What will happen if she comes to know that we have a cat? What will happen? She will leave the house. So the first part of sentence is if clause, and the second part is giving the consequence. So that is why the whole part it is called if clause. If means we are putting a condition, and the next part of the sentence will give the consequence. So this is called a conditional clause, as it is used to specify a condition and its consequence. Next example we can see, if we study, we will never fail. So again we are putting a condition. If we study, what will happen? We will never fail. If it rains, we will cancel the trip. Again the condition is put in the first part of the sentence. If it rains, what will happen? We will cancel the trip. Now in all these sentences, you must have noticed the structure of the sentence. Now what we have seen here, first part of the sentence is written in simple present, and then the consequence is written in simple future. So always remember that if the first part of the sentence is given in simple present tense, the other part, the consequence of the first part, will be always written in simple future tense. Like if it rains, we will cancel the trip. So if it rains is written in present simple, we will cancel the trip is given in future simple. The same way, if we see the next example, if they sold their house, they would be rich. Now we have changed the tense of the entire sentence. Now see, the first part is given in past simple. So when first part of the sentence is given in past simple, it would be followed by would plus verb. Would or would not plus verb. So if they sold their house, the consequence would be they would be rich. So remember two things we have seen here. If first part of the sentence is given in present simple, the consequence will be in simple future or future indefinite, you may say. If the first part of the sentence is given in past simple, then the consequence should be written in would or would not plus verb, means the past form of will or would not be will or won't be used. Now the third part, you can see, if you had studied, you would have passed the exam. Again, now see, first part of sentence is written in past perfect tense, so it would be followed by would or would not have plus verb. So now you have seen three grammatical structure here. In conditional clause, if first part of the sentence is in present simple, its consequence should be written in a future simple. If the first part of the sentence is written in past simple, the consequence again would be in past tense, that is will or won't would be converted to its past form, that is would or would not. And if the first part of the sentence is written in past perfect, it should be followed by would or would not have plus verb. Now children, as we have done if clause, and I have given you the examples also to make the things clear, now there is an exercise for you. You have to rewrite each of the following pairs of sentences as a single sentence and use if at the beginning of the sentence. You have to put if clause in the beginning and combine these two sentences. The first one is walk fast, you will catch the train. So you must have noticed first is the condition and second is the consequence. Don't spit on the road, you will be fined. Don't tire yourself now, you won't be able to work in the evening. Study regularly, you will do well in the examination. Be polite to people, they will also be polite to you. Don't tease the dog, it will bite you. So these are the sentences. You have to write their answers using if at the beginning of each sentence. So do it. I'm giving you 2 minutes to do this work and then we will discuss the answer. Now children, you all have written your answers. Check if your answers are correct. First one, if you walk fast, you will catch the train. If you spit on the road, you will be fined. If you tire yourself now, you won't be able to work in the evening. If you study regularly, you will do well in the examination. If you are polite to the people, they will also be polite to you. If you tease the dog, it will bite you. So you all must have seen that the first part of sentence is a condition and the second part tells its consequence. And always remember, you have to rewrite the sentence in such a manner so that its meaning does not change. Fine, it remains same. Now children, the next exercise that we are going to do is fill in the blanks with the words given. So in the bracket some words are given to you and after that is a paragraph having some blanks. So you have to find the correct word from the bracket and fill the blanks with the correct word. Now here I'm going to read this paragraph for you. A kitten is a dash cat. After being born, kittens are totally dependent on their mother for dash, and they do not normally open their eyes until after 7 to 10 days. After about 2 weeks, kittens quickly dash to explore the world outside the nest. After a further 3 to 4 weeks, they begin to eat solid food and dash adult teeth. Domestic kittens are highly dash animals and usually dash human companionship. So this is a paragraph having some blanks. Now I'm giving you 2 minutes to find the correct words to fill these blanks up, and then we will discuss the answer. Now I hope you all must have got the correct answers. Check if it is correct. A kitten is a juvenile cat. So the first blank will take the word juvenile. After being born, kittens are totally dependent on their mother for survival, and they do not normally open their eyes until after 7 to 10 days. After about 2 weeks, kittens quickly grow and begin to explore the world outside the nest. After a further 3 to 4 weeks, they begin to eat solid food and develop adult teeth. Domestic kittens are highly social animals and usually enjoy human companionship. So this is a paragraph about kittens, as we have seen that a kitten was there in the chapter, so this paragraph is based on kittens. The next activity that we are taking up today is compound words. Now, what is a compound word? It means when two or more words are combined together to make one word, it makes compound words. For example, good looking. So if we say a word good looking, it is a combination of two separate words. One is good, the other one is looking. So, and when we combine these two words, it becomes one word, good looking. When generally we say it to the people that he is very good looking. So these two words are not used separately, they are used as one single word. Next example is long-legged. Again, it is a compound word as it is a combination of two different words. Now see, I have given you certain words here, and you have to combine two words to make one compound word. So you have to make at least 10 compound words from the box given below. So you can see how many words are given here. 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 threes are 21. So 21 words are given, and you have to make at least 10 compound words. So this is an activity for you to do in the class. So I'm giving you some time. You just write down the compound words, and based on your compound words, I'll be giving another activity. Now children, I hope you all must have written those 10 compound words, and you may write more compound words. Whatever you know, you may write some more, and using those compound words, you have to do this activity. This is a very interesting activity. It is describing this picture using some compound words. So a picture is given to you. Do you recognize this picture? This is the picture of William Shakespeare. I'm telling you the name, the great playwright. So this picture is given to you. You have to describe this picture using compound words. You may use the compound words which you have already written, or you may use some other compound words which were not given in the box in the previous slide. So this is a picture description using compound words. So this activity, I hope you all will enjoy doing it in the class, and you will get some time. I'm giving you 2 minutes to describe this picture using compound words. The next activity that we are going to do today is synonyms. Now you all know what synonyms are. Synonyms are the words which have similar meaning to the original word. So here I have given you a paragraph and some words are given in the bracket also. You have to write the synonym of the word given in the bracket in the blank. See, first I'll read out the question for you. Complete this book review by filling in the blanks with the synonyms of the words given in the bracket. You can see I have given 4 words in the bracket: narrated, inspiring, ordeal, gripping. So these are 4 words and a paragraph is given after that, and again the paragraphs have some words in bracket. So you have to read those words given in the bracket and find their synonym from the 4 words given above it. Fine. So now here it goes. This is a dash story of one of the world's foremost polar explorers. Now here in the blank you have to write the synonym of absorbing. This is a dash story, absorbing story. So what other word can you write for absorbing? You have to see from the bracket. It has been dash through brilliant photography, compelling next, and quotes from Ernest Shackleton himself. So again in the blank the word is told. You have to write the synonym of the word told. It is an dash tale of the triumph of the human spirit in the face of dash hardship. So in the first blank you have to write the synonym of encouraging, and in the second blank you have to write the synonym of hardship. These all 4 words are given above. You choose the correct one, correct synonym, and fill the blanks. I hope you all must have done. Let's see, check your answer. This is a gripping story. Absorbing, what is the synonym of absorbing from these 4 words? It is gripping. So this is a gripping story of one of the world's foremost polar explorers. It has been told. Now told can also be written as narrated. It has been narrated through brilliant photography, compelling next, and quotes from Ernest Shackleton himself. It is an encouraging tale. So it is an inspiring tale. Encouraging, the synonym of this word is inspiring. Tale of triumph of the human spirit in the face of hardship. Hardship can be replaced with ordeal. Ordeal means hardship. So these are the synonyms. So you must have improved your word power by these words. Now children, it's recapitulation time, and again we are going to do this recapitulation with the help of a mind map. It is very easy, interesting for all of you to make a mind map and revise the entire chapter that you have done. It can be done on day-to-day basis also. Whatever you do in the school, at home you can make a mind map of the things taught in that particular period, and that will help you revise the entire concept. So what did we study here? A gift of chappals. So we studied, first of all we read about the author. The author of this chapter is Vasantha Surya. Second, we saw about the setting of the story. The background of the story is Chennai. It took place in Chennai. Now who are the characters? Ravi, Meena, Mridu, Rukkumani, Kitten, who was named as MP Punnai, then Beggar. So many characters were there, but in the first part we have done only these characters. Next is theme. What is the theme of the story? It shows extreme love to animals. It tells us to respect our elders. It tells us to be obedient to our elders. So what children did? They had love to animals and they had respect to elders also. So both the things they are maintaining at the same time. They took the kitten from the gate to the backyard and they did not let the elders know, because they had to listen to them as well, because they did not like, Pati did not like any animal to be kept in the house. So this is the theme. Next you are going to write the summary. So whatever is the summary of the chapter, this entire text that we have done today, you will write in this section. Then vocabulary we did, what all words we read, you can write here. And what all activities we did, like compound words, synonyms, and if clause, and description of a picture, those all things you can write in this section. And then comes comprehension question, reference to context we did, and some questions we discussed, so you can write those questions along with the answer. So in this way, this mind map is really very fruitful, very useful for the children. Now a class is incomplete without home assignment. So here is your home assignment. Some questions I have given. You find out the answers, write it down in your notebook. First question is, what is the secret that Meena shares with Mridu in the backyard? Second question, how does Ravi get milk for the kitten? Then, who does he say the kitten's ancestors are? And next is, who was Mahendran? Where was he found? Next question, what did Ravi do when Rukumani opened the door? Next, what did Ravi tell about Mahendran? Write, now important question, write an article on generosity towards animal. We should be very loving, we should be kind to animals, and on that topic you're going to write an article. You must have seen the brutality, some unlawful activities that are done to animals, not acceptable in the society. Some people throw stones at them, and there are many cruelty which is done to animal. So you have to write how we can be generous, how we can be loving towards the animals, what we should do to protect animals on this planet. So this is a topic that you're going to write about, and this is all about this chapter. If you do this home assignment carefully, I am very sure that all of your doubts would be clear, and this chapter, this text would be clear in each and every respect. Now, thank you very much, children, for being patient listener, and I hope this part of the story will definitely help you understand the concept. And then next, wait for my next class. I'll bring the second part of the story to you soon. Thank you very much.